Here with UMC head football coach Mike Fritzy. You guys are just wrapping up your spring session for heading into the 2015 season. First off, just some overall thoughts on what you thought the group did and some things you'd like to see improved on going into, another tough fall season coming up, just around the corner here.
Yeah. I think overall we had a very good spring, and obviously weather is the biggest impact on a lot of what we do, and we were fortunate enough to go outside for every practice, and we got a lot of work done, a lot of individual types of things done, a lot of skill work and fundamental work. Obviously there's always a need to improvement in certain areas, and shoring up our offensive line. We were short kind of some numbers this spring, and which forced 5 of our guys to pretty much take every rep, and so our offensive line we talk about first, I think really kind of came together as a group, and they're very versatile guys, and that most of them can play any of the 5 positions out there, and Coach Case worked with them with that. So having that versatility with that group of 5 is really important, and that's probably the one group that needs to work together the most to become the most efficient during games, because of all the calls and things that they have to make and communications they have to make between themselves. So our offensive line, and I'm going to mention all 5 guys there, Tyler O'Brien, JT Moran, Noah Lee, and then our 2 Hawaiians, Drew McDermott and Timon Hayashi, are the 5 guys, and they did a great job. We had 4 quarterbacks who split time this spring, and all who we feel comfortable with. Senior Ben Buchholz from Perham, and Trayvon Hearns, who played a lot and started the last few games last year. Looked good, and Nate Cole, who had taken a year off for elbow injury, has come back strong and is a great addition to our team. And then kind of a newcomer, Tommy Singer from Apple Valley. So those guys did well. The receiver corps, we had a few new bodies out there. Lamar Daniels came back from playing defensive end, and we're turning him into a wide receiver. Had a good spring. Adam Cannett, who was one of our leading receivers last year, came back and had a great spring. And then newcomer Tristan Rickard, who was a redshirt last year, also showed a lot of improvement. So that's kind of on the offensive side of the ball. Defensive side of the ball, we're led by Brody Davidson, Crookston native and a senior, and to sit out this last year because of an appendectomy and some complications with that. So we're very fortunate to have him back for another year. He's a great linebacker. He did sustain a little bit of an injury in our spring game, but he'll be back strong within a few weeks. So and then we had a newcomer, Chuck Lofquist, kind of step up, who was brother of Greg Lofquist, our leading tackler last year. He had a very good spring. Kind of learning the ropes of how to play linebacker, which he hasn't played before. D-line wise, we have 4 really experienced guys there. AJ Wallace, who is going to be a senior, Drew Silvestra, who's going to be a senior, and then an O-line convert, Tony Peterson, is going to be there as well, and those guys did a tremendous job too. In the secondary, we have a senior, Letzi Calderon, who has played extensively in the last 2 years, kind of leading the way. And then we had some new guys back there, Jake Newman at safety and Dan Walsh at corner, who have really stepped up, one's a freshman and one's a redshirt freshman. So we feel defensively too that we had a very good spring.
I know you hadn't really touched on running back or tight end. I know a spot that's going to be pretty new with some newcomers, but you did return a couple bodies there. Just what did you see from running back, and what do you expect coming in with some of the new guys that are coming in here in the summer, fall?
Mm-hmm. We had basically this spring we had 2 fullback type guys playing running back, and Mike Williams and Matt Hunt. And those guys did a great job in learning kind of a new position for them, and they both stepped up and they're hard runners. We do have a few running backs coming in, a couple of junior college guys who should, compete for the halfback spot that we have in our offense. So we feel pretty comfortable with what we have, and then with those guys coming in as well. Tight end position, we didn't play much with tight ends this year. We had a couple players on our team, Stan Harvey and J.W. Freilich, who both played tight end and wide receiver this spring. So, and they'll be playing kind of a hybrid type of tight end position next year. We do have two incoming freshmen. Deshaun Diggs is one of them from Texas, who's more of a typical tight end at about 6'4", 260 probably, something like that. And then Devontae Nuttall from Wayzata High School in Minnesota is also coming in, and he's got a bigger body. So we're feeling pretty good there as well.
Also, special teams an important part. You got Mike Ma coming back, who's been your kicker for 2 years and has shown improvement, and then I know you've got some other options there as well. But just talk a bit about those guys.
One thing in spring ball is we don't do a whole lot with the team aspect of special teams. We do a lot with the individual part of it. So they didn't get a whole lot of chance to kick during team times, except for some extra points and stuff. And Mike is a good kicker, and we're fortunate to have him and have him coming back for another couple of years. He's worked very hard to improve. And Stephen Day is our from Eveleth, and he's our backup kicker, and he's working on punting enough so that hopefully he can become our #1 punter come fall. So, and he's just a tremendous kid and a hard worker, and so those two guys hopefully are going to be the guys.
You also added one new staff member for the spring with Taylor Summers coming in and working with the receivers. Just how do you feel Taylor's fit in so far with your staff? He's coming over from right down the road in Bemidji, knows the league, but just how do you think he's meshed with your other staff members?
Taylor's done just a tremendous job, and I mean, if you were an observer and came into a staff meeting right now, you'd think he'd have been with us for 10 years. He's fit right in, and he stepped up to the plate within a number of areas. He's taken over our strength and conditioning program with a new program that we're installing or implementing, a new web-based program that many of our teams are doing, and done just a tremendous job with that. And that's a lot of extra work, and he's done a great job with the wideouts and with our passing game stuff, and he's also kind of got his nose into special teams as well.